Now, amidst a sea of grey suits and ties in Parliament, Nelson Mandela was never afraid to be his own man, not just in thought and actions, but definitely in the way that he dressed as well and his personal style, making the silk batik shirt famous. This style is now fondly known worldwide as a Madiba shirt, and its definition can even be found on Wikipedia. To pay tribute to Madiba's unique and celebrated style is our fashion director, Alexis Shafay. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning.
So good to have you here today and talking about this particular subject, because a lot of us want to know, where did it all start? Because I know the first time he started wearing this shirt, he caused quite a sensation. But tell us more about where it all started.
It's actually an incredible story, and it started with a gift from an Indonesian fashion designer. When he was visiting Indonesia shortly after he got out of prison. He was given this shirt by an Indonesian fashion designer by the name of Iwan Tirta. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. And of course, Mandela immediately loves these shirts, and he started to wear them. And it was the exact opposite of what all the other politicians were wearing.
And this is Iwan Tirta.
This is Iwan, yes. So you can see he's wearing a very similar kind of shirt.
Right.
Now, batik is actually it's a handmade fabric, which is a wax-resistant dyeing process. So it's quite a special fabric, and something that's really quite different. Now, in '94, a South African designer by the name of Desiree Bursky, she handed one of Mandela's bodyguards her own batik design with a note to Mandela thanking him for all his sacrifices for our country. Obviously, the bodyguard then handed the shirt to Nelson Mandela, and he wore it the very next day. And it was that shirt that was all over the news. It got him a lot of attention. And since then, Desiree has actually designed 150 shirts.
Are you serious?
For Madiba in all kinds of colours and prints. Though apparently his brief to her was always that he liked earth colours.
Yes. And of course, we've also got a picture of Madiba with the Queen as well, wearing that particular shirt. And look at that. I mean, that just became his signature, his statement style.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, what do you think was so significant about this statement shirt?
You know, we can look at it superficially and say this was a man that just liked printed shirts. But I think it's so much deeper than that, because as you know, anything that you choose to wear really symbolizes who you are on the inside. And I think it said a lot about him, that he was a man that was not afraid to say what he thought was right, wear what he wanted to, and he didn't have to wear a stuffy grey Western suit just like everybody else, because he was a leader in Africa. And he was very proudly his own man, and he could wear what he wanted. And I think he really celebrated everything that it was to be African. And since he pretty much, let's say, revolutionized political attire, you're seeing quite a few other African politicians also starting to wear, you know, little flavors of Africa, just symbolic of where we come from and our roots.
Wow, absolutely incredible. I mean, I feel so much more of a connection to Tata Madiba, like knowing exactly why he wore the shirt that he wore and what it exactly meant to him. Wow, thank you so much, Miss Alexis, always giving us those interesting things that we didn't really know when it came to fashion as well.
I loved the story behind it. I mean, you know his style, that it was elegant, but also quite relaxed in a very interesting way. I love the way he always used to wear them buttoned up to the top. It was still respectful, and I just, knowing the story behind it, it actually does mean so much more.
Well, we've seen pictures of Madiba with the Queen. Let's take a look at a picture with some other important and dignitaries, some heads of states. We've got him with Bill Clinton, of course, wearing the statement shirt as well.
Bill Clinton was a massive fan.
I know he was,
I love all these pictures, though, that the other politician is always in a suit and a tie. And, you know, normally when you see all the politicians together, that's normal garb for a politician to be wearing. But when you see him side by side with Madiba, actually looks fantastic. And they kind of look so boring.
I know, like they need a holiday or something. Yeah, with Sepp Blatter here is with Desmond Tutu as well, looking very relaxed. And I mean, oh my word, Bill Gates. And Bill Gates actually tweeted yesterday and said that whenever he met with Madiba, he would always leave more inspired and more empowered.
And that's something coming from Bill Gates.
Wow.
I mean, Bill Gates here, like just the symbol of nerd really in that tie. And Madiba in this incredible green shirt.
Oh, the symbol of coolness. I love it. Thank you so much, Miss Alexis.